And joining us now to help navigate the shifts in energy markets and your investments is Rod D. Martin, founder and CEO of Martin Capital. Good morning, Rod. What do you see as the most immediate economic pain points for American families and businesses at this point in time?
Well, obviously, everybody's very concerned about oil prices. The drop in the last 24 hours is telling, though. The truth is, there's really no lack of supply. We've got tons of supply in the global market, and the U.S. supply is almost entirely unaffected by this. Nearly all of our oil comes from the United States or Canada, some from Venezuela, a little bit from other places. California is an exception because they've made it incredibly hard to produce energy in their state, so they import quite a bit. But for most of the country, this is fear-driven. The price increases are driven by the concern on the part of markets that somehow Iran is going to close the Strait of Hormuz, which seems virtually impossible, considering that we've basically sunk their navy and have complete air dominance over the country, but also by the insurance angle. And we saw that last week when Lloyd's of London, which underwrites most maritime shipping in the world, just abruptly hiked prices and then started canceling contracts. And the president acted aggressively on that and started offering maritime insurance through the United States Development Finance Corporation. That is, as much as anything, a shot across Keir Starmer's bow. If you're going to betray us on Diego Garcia and on all these other things that have come up in the last few weeks, there's a price to be paid for the City of London. But the long and the short of it is, it's a solvable problem. It's a short-term problem, and people really don't need to be overly concerned about it.
So if it is mostly fear-based, what will it take to turn the heat down then?
Well, the president did a great job with that last night. I think his remarks clearly had an impact on the markets. A 10% drop is not insignificant. The bigger issue is the underlying insurance problem. If the Development Finance Corporation can actually step in and replace in whole or in part Lloyd's function underwriting maritime shipping, it's a game changer. It's also a huge shift of economic power from London to the United States, and something Keir Starmer needs to take extremely seriously. But at the end of the day, the insurance policy on global shipping in all parts of the world whatsoever is and always has been in modern times the United States Navy. And that's what the president was saying last night. We're not going to let your oil tanker get blown up in the Strait of Hormuz or captured by the Iranians. We're going to escort these ships with the full firepower and missile defense systems that we have deployed throughout the U.S. Navy.
And President Trump is very optimistic about the outcome here in Iran. If that does eventuate and we either soon or later see a decisive victory leading to a freer Iran, how will that ultimately stabilize or lower energy prices in the long run, if indeed it is fear-based at this point in time?
Oh my goodness, utopia just breaks out. I mean, I'm being a little silly, but not that much. Iran is a vast and beautiful country, 90 million people, shocking talent, highly educated population, tremendously entrepreneurial people. You see that in Los Angeles. You see that in Toronto, where so many people came after the revolution and have contributed so much to our countries here in North America. But the untapped resources are extraordinary. And the reason for that is that Iran is a theocracy in ideology, but it's a socialist system in practice. And socialism kills everything it touches. It kills the goose that laid the golden egg because it actually starts carving it up and handing it out to different people who are friends of the regime. And we saw that in Venezuela too. So a free Iran means a first world country within 15 to 20 years that is free, it's democratic, and it isn't stoking conflict all over the Middle East. That'll bring the risk premium down a lot. Every current conflict you can point to in the Middle East is fueled, armed, and funded by the Iranian regime. You take that out of the picture and peace breaks out. This is actually the keystone of the president's plan. He really wants Middle East peace. This is really a way to get it, and that lets us draw down forces and move them into the Indo-Pacific.
And just on the micro scale, back to today, for people who are dealing with or eyeing potential rises in prices, how would you suggest they manage just for the time being?
You know, for the time being, I don't think you're going to see huge spikes in gasoline prices. They're down on average $2 a gallon from when Biden was still president. It's a little tough for the short term. It is just for the short term. You know, maybe take a few less short-term trips, maybe burn a little less gasoline. But in general, you're not going to have a huge problem. The president means to wrap this conflict up as quickly as possible. It's not going to be a 20-year forever war a la George Bush and Barack Obama. It's just not. And so the disruption is going to be brief, and I don't think anybody's going to have to worry about it too much. In fact, we would predict here that you're going to see an average oil price of about $80 a barrel over the next 3 months, you know, maybe as low as 70. That's actually a net decrease over the beginning of the war.
All right. Well, it's great to hear your insights this morning. Rod Martin, thank you again.
Thank you.